I'm Patricia, 34. Standing in the hospital lobby, I watched my sister, Lily, strut in, her eyes full of confidence as she prepared for her job interview. 6 years ago, I was the one lying in a hospital bed, fighting for my life during her graduation. The pain of that day came rushing back, and I knew this encounter would change everything. Growing up in a small town in Ohio, my family was far from ordinary. My parents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, were strict and traditional. They always favored Lily, the younger and more outgoing sister. I was the responsible one, the quiet achiever who often went unnoticed. From the moment Lily was born, I felt the shift in my parents' attention. I was just 4 years old, but I remember my mother constantly doting on Lily, while I was left to fend for myself. On my 10th birthday, I had planned a small party with my friends. But Lily decided she wanted to go to the amusement park instead, and my parents canceled my party without a second thought. I was heartbroken, but I learned to keep my feelings to myself. As we got older, the favoritism only intensified. Lily was allowed to stay out late, while I had to be home by a strict curfew. She could skip chores, but I was expected to do my part around the house. When I brought home straight A's, my parents barely acknowledged my achievements. But when Lily got a B on a test, they threw a celebration. My passion for medicine started at a young age. I was fascinated by the human body and spent hours reading medical books. I joined science clubs in high school and volunteered at the local hospital. But my parents never seemed to understand my dedication. They thought I was just trying to be like Lily, who had expressed a passing interest in medicine. During my junior year of high school, I started experiencing back pain. At first, I thought it was just a minor issue, but it soon became unbearable. I was diagnosed with scoliosis, a condition that would require surgery. But my parents didn't seem to take it seriously. They thought I was exaggerating and told me to tough it out. Meanwhile, Lily was living the high life. She was popular at school, had a boyfriend, and was involved in every extracurricular activity. She never seemed to care about my struggles, and I felt more and more isolated. My senior year of high school was a turning point. I was accepted into a prestigious medical school, but I needed to raise money for tuition. I worked 2 part-time jobs and saved every penny I could. But just 2 weeks before the deposit was due, my parents told me they had used my savings to pay for Lily's trip to Europe. They said it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for her, and I should understand. I was devastated. I had worked so hard for this chance, and it was taken away from me. But I didn't give up. I applied for scholarships and loans, and somehow I managed to make it to medical school. Medical school was tough, but I thrived in the challenging environment. I worked hard, made friends, and focused on my studies. But my back pain continued to worsen, and I knew I needed surgery. The surgery was scheduled for the same day as Lily's graduation. I called my parents, hoping for their support. But they told me they couldn't miss Lily's big day. They said I would be fine and the doctors would take care of me. I was alone in the hospital on the day of my surgery. I was scared and nervous, but I knew I had to be strong. The surgery was successful, but the recovery was long and painful. I was in the hospital for weeks, and my parents only visited me once. They were too busy celebrating Lily's graduation. When I finally got out of the hospital, I was a different person. I had lost all faith in my family, and I decided to focus on my career. I moved to Boston for a residency at a top hospital, and I never looked back. Over the next few years, I built a successful career as a neurosurgeon. I was respected by my colleagues and loved by my patients. I also met a wonderful man, David, who supported me through everything. But just when I thought I had left my past behind, Lily showed up at my hospital. She was applying for a job as a hospital administrator, and she wanted my help. At first, I was angry. I couldn't believe she had the nerve to ask for my assistance after everything she had done to me. But then I realized that this was an opportunity for me to confront my past and move on. I decided to give Lily a chance. I recused myself from the interview process, but I promised to evaluate her application objectively. When I met with her, I was surprised by how different she seemed. She was humble, apologetic, and genuinely seemed to want to make amends. During the interview, Lily performed well. She was confident, articulate, and had some great ideas for improving patient experience. But when it came time to make a decision, the committee chose another candidate. Lily was devastated, and she accused me of sabotaging her. I tried to explain that the decision was based on merit, not personal feelings. But Lily wouldn't listen. She was convinced that I was still punishing her for the past. Just then, my parents showed up at the hospital. They had come to support Lily, but they were also angry with me. They thought I had betrayed my sister and should have done more to help her. I was hurt and frustrated. I had tried so hard to be fair, but my family still didn't understand me. I finally lost my temper and told them how I felt. I told them about all the pain and suffering they had caused me, and I said I couldn't forgive them. My parents were shocked. They had never heard me speak like that before. They realized that they had made a big mistake, and they apologized. For the first time in my life, I felt like they were truly listening to me. Lily also seemed to have a change of heart. She apologized for her behavior and said she wanted to be a better sister. She even offered to help me with my recovery, and I was touched by her gesture. Over the next few months, Lily and I started to rebuild our relationship. We talked on the phone regularly and met for coffee. She was still struggling to find a job, but she was determined to make a fresh start. One day, Lily called me and told me she had been accepted into a therapy program. She said she wanted to work on her issues and become a better person. I was proud of her for taking the initiative, and I offered to support her. As Lily worked on herself, I could see a positive change in her. She was more confident, more responsible, and more empathetic. She also started to understand the impact of her actions on me and our family. My parents also started to change. They realized the damage they had done by favoring Lily, and they made a conscious effort to treat us both equally. They started to show more interest in my career and asked me about my life. A year later, Lily got a job at a different hospital. She was excited and nervous, but she was also ready to prove herself. I was so proud of her for achieving her goal, and I knew she would do well. At the annual healthcare recognition dinner, I was honored for my work in spinal trauma. Lily and my parents were there to support me, and it was a moment I will never forget. As I accepted the award, I thanked my colleagues, my friends, and my family. I also thanked Lily for showing me that people can change. Looking back on my journey, I realized that my family's betrayal was a blessing in disguise. It taught me the importance of resilience, independence, and forgiveness. It also showed me that true family is not defined by blood, but by love and support. Today, I have a wonderful life. I have a successful career, a loving partner, and a strong relationship with my sister and parents. I know that there will always be challenges ahead, but I am ready to face them with courage and determination.